Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Leetcode problem 290 word pattern in JavaScript. It's considered an easy problem. So it says given a pattern and a string S, find if S follows the same pattern. Here follow means a full match such that there is bijection between a letter in pattern and a non-empty word in S. Specifically, each letter in pattern maps to exactly one unique word in S. Each unique word in S maps to exactly one letter in pattern. No two letters map to the same word, and no two words map to the same letter. Okay, that's a little confusing, but if you look at the examples, it's pretty simple. So our pattern is going to be ABBA, our string is going to be dog, cat, cat, dog, right? So output is true. The reason being, if you look at the order of this, we have A. For the first letter is A, the first word is dog, the next letter is B, and the next letter is B, and then we got cat, cat, and then the last letter is A, and then dog, right? So A equals dog, B equals cat, right? So that's why we get true. Here we see this is going to be false because we have ABBA again, but as opposed to having dog again, it's fish, so that's incorrect. And then here we have all A's and dog, cat, cat, dog, so if that was true, they would all be dog, right? So it's false. Okay, a couple constraints. These are important. Pattern length is greater or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 300. Pattern contains only lowercase English letters, so we don't need to worry about uppercase. The S dot length is 1 to 3000. S contains only lowercase English letters and spaces, right? Because that's the words. And S does not contain any leading or trailing spaces. That's good. All the words in S are separated by a single space. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, there's, with these examples and descriptions, I found that given all this information, I was able to solve it up to a point. There were some test cases that were still failing that were not really discussed here. So we're going to go ahead and just solve this, excuse me, up to this point, and then we'll submit it. We'll see the errors and we'll fix the errors as we go. I believe that's probably the best way to go. Okay, so let's grab this example, copy it, go over to CodePen. So here are our two variables. Let's create a function. We'll just call it func. For now, we'll return pattern. And let's log into the console so we can see what's going on. Now we should see pattern. I spelled console wrong. There we go. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do, excuse me, what we're going to do is we're basically going to, well, first we're going to split these into arrays, and then we're going to loop through one of them, and we're going to, as we go along, we're going to create an empty object, and we're going to push a key value pair of the key being the letter, right? So A, and the value being dog, right? So you have A, right? So I have an object, right? And eventually we'll have A, dog, B, cat, right? And so as we are looping, what we're going to do is we're going to check to, if we get to, first A is going to push that into the object, Next B is going to push that into the object. And when we get to this B, we're also going to, well, while we're doing that, we're going to be checking, does this letter exist as a key? If it doesn't, then we push it in. If it does, then we check, is it the same value as cat? It is, so that's okay. And then we're going to come to this A, and we're going to say it's already exists. Is it the same value as dog? It is, so that's okay. And then if we get through the loop, we just return true. Let's say we had, that one example where this was fish, right? Right, let's say we had fish here, so we get to this A and we check, and it's not fish, it's dog. And then we can return false, okay? So that's the game plan. So let's get rid of this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to split these up into arrays. So I'm going to say let pattern array equal pattern dot split, and then I'll just take it out. Const s array equals s dot split. Now we can check these. I'll just put this in an array. Pattern array, S array. Cool. So now you can see we have our two strings as arrays. Okay. Next thing, we'll take care of this right away. It wasn't in these examples, and I lied. I'm just going to tell you right away, and we'll take care of it. It's because I'm seeing it. It's not any of the examples, but there are some test cases where, actually, no, we're not going to do that. We'll get to that when that error happens. It's easier to see it. All right, so let's create our object. This is what we're going to push into. And then I'm going to create a variable called result. Set it to a Boolean of true. And then we're going to use the map method to loop through string array. And we're going to have two parameters, word and I. So word is going to be the word, and I is going to be our index. And so here what we're going to do is we're going to discuss that logic, or we're going to put that logic in that I was just discussing about how we get to A and dog. Well, we look at the object and we say there's no A, so we're going to push A with the value of dog into object. Let's say that already existed. In the case of here, right, we'll be checking, if it exists, and then we check, does it have the same value? If it does, we continue the loop. If it doesn't for some reason, then we return false. Okay? So I'm going to use a ternary operator. And we're going to say if pattern in I, or pattern at I in object. So that's checking to see if pattern, and actually I should probably say pattern array. Yeah, that makes more sense, I think. So if pattern in pattern array at I is in the object and object at pattern, because this is, we just discovered that exists, right? Pattern array I does not equal word, right? Because that's going to be one of these, right? Word, we're going to return false. Or I'm sorry, we're not going to return false. We're going to say result is now going to equal false. Else, okay, So if it doesn't exist in the array, we're going to just put it in there. So we're going to say object pattern array I equals word. Cool. All right, so now what we can do to check that is let's return the object. And we have an empty object. And why is that? Maybe I don't want pattern array. Maybe it is just pattern. That's what I was using before. And it worked. So let's still nothing. Oh, I know. Sorry, I'm just pausing here for a second. Trying to see what I did wrong. Word. Oh. There we go. Sorry about that. So that's what we want to see, right? A key value pair of A equaling dog and B equaling cat. As the loop happens, it's going to get to B here in cat and see that, yeah, it exists, but it's also the same, right? And A being dog, yeah, it exists, so it also is the same. So it just continues. And then what we can do here is just return result, right? Now we'll get true. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this, and it's not going to pass all the tests, but then we're going to see some more situations reveal themselves, and then we can handle that. So format code. Let's run the basic tests. Passed all those. Let's submit. Okay. So this is the first thing. Now S is dog, 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 expected false, and got true. The reason for that is we're never really checking the opposite, right? Right, so in this check, we're not checking, does the value already exist? We're just checking for the key. So one way we can handle that is just create another array. We're going to call it values. And then we can say object dot values of object. Right, so we use object keyword dot values method, and then we put our object into there. Now let's look at that array. So let's get values. All right, so now we have 2 dogs, right? That's not what we want. So basically we need to check in this, check this array to see if there's duplicates. And if there are, we return false. So we can do it this way. We can create another array called storage. Set it to an empty array. And now we're going to use the map method to loop through values. And we're basically going to, whoops, what did I do wrong there? I did something wrong, I think. All right. So we can kind of do the same exact thing we did here. but as opposed to checking the object, we're going to check the storage array, and see if word exists in the storage array. If it doesn't, we go ahead and we push into storage. If it does, then we return false, right? Because we can't have identical values in our array, or in our identical values in our object, excuse me. And these are just the, the values of our object. So we're going to use the includes method. So we're going to say storage.includes word. So if that's true, we're going to say result equals false. If it's not true, we just push word into storage. Oops, I forgot the push keyword. That's our problem there. Okay, and then down here, we don't want values, we want result. Return result. We should see false. Cool. All right, that takes care of that problem. We're going to go back over to Leetcode, and there's going to be one more edge case we're going to have to take care of, but let's just put that in there, and so we can see what that edge case is. So it should pass all the tests, and then I am expecting it doesn't pass all the test cases when you submit. It does not, right? So 41 out of 44. So there is this weird edge case here. So jQuery, right? Now it's saying true, and I first saw this, I'm like, yeah, it should be true, right? Well, no, it shouldn't. And the reason for that is, and this becomes much more obvious when you see these arrays. So I'm going to return pattern array, not pattern. Sorry about that. Pattern array, return pattern array, and S array. Right. So it's comparing J and jQuery, and then it's comparing Q and nothing, U and nothing, and so on and so forth, because there's only one word. So the quick way to fix that, I found, was if we just compare that const, we just need an if statement. We say if pattern array dot length does not equal S array dot length. We just go ahead and return false. Now we should get a false. And we do. Cool. So the only thing I did is write this one line of code, so I'm just going to copy that. Put that into code. I'm put it right here, nice and early. So it doesn't need to do all this stuff if it sees that. Let's format it. Let's go ahead and submit, and this should be good. And it is. Cool. And it beats 100% of samples, so that's a good solution. All right, hopefully you found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, please like it, like my channel, subscribe to my channel to see more like this, and we'll see you again real soon.